Hey there, fellow diggers and space engineers. Welcome to the first in what I'm hoping is going to be a long series of videos in which I try to mine the entire moon. That's right, the entire moon. Not one of the silly asteroids that's out there in the solar system, but the Earth's moon. So what, I hear you say, and I would tend to agree with you. There are a lot of clever people out there who have designed some very impressive space engineer mining rigs. However, this is an unmodded, vanilla space engineers. And I am not an expert by any means. We're going to be learning as we go, building all manner of convoluted machines in an attempt to solo take down the entire moon. And I'm sure now you can understand why I say this is probably going to be a very long series. Sure that I'm going to learn a lot of things from you guys and gals. So without further ado, let's get started. And welcome to our new moon. Our new Earth-sized moon. Okay, not quite Earth, but alien planet, but Earth-sized moon nevertheless. And our new starter buggy. Now, one thing that struck me about the buggy, which I'm not entirely sure about, is there's not supposed to be an atmosphere on the moon, yet it seems to be equipped with atmospheric thrusters. I'm not kind of sure of the point of those and whether or not it's just a generic design or what. I'm not entirely sure, but they seem a bit pointless to me. If you know any better, please leave a comment, but otherwise I'll have to look it up. But yeah, they seem a little bit pointless to me. So, first things first, on to creating the first base. Now, oh, iron right over there. Gee whiz, how nice. So, looking at this, it has no means, I don't believe it has any kind of reactor in it of any shape or form. No. So we only have a single battery. So, I don't think I particularly want to be driving around in this thing for ages trying to find an area to set up base in, as then I'll be out of power and stuck on a moon. So, I believe we have, yes, O2H2 generator. So if we steal those things, we should then be able to have a little fly around, scout out the area, and try and find a good spot to set a base up. So I'm going to go and scout out one of those places, and we'll be back in a minute. Well, I must admit, I'm absolutely dumbfounded. When planning out the series, I thought, oh, what I need to find is a nice area next to a hill that's got a few resources in it that I could start off by building a nice sort of mining chute kind of system. And here we are, right next to where we've spawned, and we've got iron, cobalt and nickel, and I've spawned right at the bottom of a hill. I don't need to go anywhere. I think this is just about the perfect place to start a base. I'm genuinely astounded by that. I couldn't have designed it better. Honestly, I didn't design it. This is a random spawn. Well, brilliant. Okay, so let's set up a little flat area and we'll get to work. So, as I start the very first digging on this moon, I'm sure it's not going to be the last, I figured what I would start to do is to set up a very small base in this area and put a chute at the bottom here and have it and have whatever I mine out by hand here to start off with falling down a gullyway and into a little chute and being smelted and converted over in this area. So I've just moved the ship out of the way, don't want to get any dings or dents on that, and we're just starting out a gully down here that will go to a small base in this section by here. I'd like to take a minute whilst I just do a bit of mining here to explain what I'd like to try and get done during this episode. If you've ever played this game before, you'll know that if you start off like I have, you don't start off with very much. You've got rubbish tools, very little in the way of storage, and not a very fast way of manufacturing materials. So what I would like to try to get done is the start of a mining operation, a small flat area with which to start a base with, and to get up and running the basic refinery and assembler modules. That way, at least, going forward in later episodes, we should be able to start off being able to produce the materials that we need to start doing some projects. I know that's not the most interesting of starts, but you've got to lay the foundations. So, should be finished with the mining right about now, so let's get back to it. Okay, so, you know how I said at the start of the episode I was no expert? Well, lesson number 1. Definitely no expert. Just found out that rocks tend to get hung up really easily. And I don't think this chute system is going to be as easy as I thought. Stones seem to like to run down here quite nicely, but unless it's incredibly smooth and even and has a good rate of incline, stones just seem to stop and back up. I mean, certainly around here, there was just they just weren't going anywhere. I might as well have not dug them. So I think I'm going to have to start building the little bit of the base at the bottom whilst I rethink this. Right, now we have a small flat area, we can start putting the basic building blocks down. Now, because I'm new to this and I'm being rather silly, it's only just occurred to me that I can't produce batteries with this. See, it doesn't give me power cells. So I'm obviously going to need this basic refinery an assembler to produce power cells, which means I can't produce batteries. So how am I going to power this thing? I'm going to have to, got no wind, I'm going to have to do solar panels. But right now, well, it's dark. And looking at this, the sun is currently on the other side of the planet. So it looks like I've got plenty of time to build a solar array. So I better get producing the stuff to build that as well. Now I wonder whether or not my chute system will work if I use the larger rocks. So I've dug this section out a little bit more. So if I now throw out a larger stone, will that make it all the way to the bottom? And then will I be able to use the chute to pick it up? Go on. I think he's still going to get hung up. Might need something bigger. Go on. Oh, so close.
Inventory full.
Right, I've widened it a bit. Let's see if this makes it. Go on. I think as my inventory's full, I'm only throwing out smaller rocks. But I think this one might just about make it. And if that's the case, I mean, I'll be able to mine stuff out up here and just be able to chuck it down this chute and it'll make its way to the bottom. Yeah. So I could put in like an ore chute here, send it over to something up there, and it means I won't have to keep on coming back and forth or building huge pipes over to here. I should just be able to mine some stuff out, chuck it down here, and it gets slurped up. So yeah, this idea might still work.
Inventory full.
Right, it was getting a bit slow, waiting for a bit of space to be able to put more rock in. So we've put on a medium cargo container on the back, which feeds in, just allows us to be able to gather and store a bit more in it at any one time.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
That's much better.
Inventory full.
Right, we have our basic refinery and basic assembler. Sun is still nowhere near ready to come up, so we still have time to build our solar array. Given that we're sort of in a valley, I think it's time to build a tower. Well, that's a pretty sight. So that just goes to show that the larger rocks overcome the little niggles and get down here. So it remains to be seen whether or not the chute system will still work with an actual ore collector at the bottom. But that's promising. Well, would you look at that? Sun came up early. And we are generating power. And thanks to the solar panel providing some power, our basic refinery has already sorted out all of the iron ore that we stuck in there. So we can now use the completed assembler behind it to get to work on some of these items up here, right. And now that we've actually got a couple of those working, the assembler finally has enough power. And with that we have completed the first bit of our solar array. That should be more than enough power for this little tiny starter base. But, as we just learned from experience whilst we were digging out that trench, the nights here are pretty long, so I think we better start getting some batteries going over here, otherwise we're going to find ourselves just sitting around twiddling our thumbs for a long period of the evenings. So, let's get to building some batteries. That's the second battery finished. Now with these two battery packs, along with the completed first section of the array there, we should have enough power to run these refineries and assemblers day and night. And so we can start shifting some of the ore from the mines and get it done. And I think this is a good place to leave the first episode. We have a functioning starter base and we have the start of a new mine. So it's goodbye from me, and hopefully I'll see you next time when we can start some projects. Hey there fellow diggers and space engineers. Just wanted to say thanks for watching, but if this video left you thinking about watching paint dry as a new hobby, or if you're thinking about never watching YouTube again, you know what to do. But if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, then hey, please give me a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button. Go on, you know you want to. I'll see you all next time, and keep on digging.